Hauntcast.
Haunting Halloween and horror. Terror Tech with Dexter Morgan.
Hello and welcome to Terror Tech. I'm Dexter Morgan, former pro haunter, escape room owner and designer, tech junkie, and your guide through the incredible world of haunted house technology. Come and join me as we unmask the secrets behind your favorite frights. Much like the mysterious figure behind the curtain in The Wizard of Oz, Terror Tech pulls back the veil on the tech that makes your nightmares come alive. From simple standalone prop control to full show control systems and everything in between, Terror Tech is the wizardry that lurks unseen, orchestrating the spine-tingling experiences that keep you on the edge of your seat. Ready to unveil the secrets? Let's journey into the world of Terror Tech. Alright, so before we jump into the fun stuff, let's quickly chat about sequencer controllers and logic controllers. It might sound fancy, but it's pretty straightforward, and it's very, very tech junky nerdy. So, what is a sequencer controller? Well, a sequencer controller, or as some people would just refer to it, a sequencer, is like a haunted house DJ. It plays a sequence of events in a specific order. That is all it does. Imagine a motion sensor goes off, or someone steps on a pressure pad. The sequencer first turns on a creepy light, then it plays a spooky sound, and finally it makes an animatronic jump out. And everything happens one after the other, perfectly timed, exactly as you have programmed it. That's what it does. Solid every single time. On the other hand, a logic controller is much more like a haunted house mastermind. It decides what to do based on certain conditions. Maybe it activates a different effect if two sensors go off at the same time or in a different order. It is super flexible and it can create really interactive experiences, which is totally cool. Having said that, a logic controller does come with a higher price tag than a sequencer. So with that sorted out, let's get to the stars of today's show, the Maestro and Maestro 2 controllers from Haunted Enterprises. The Maestro is a solid entry-level sequencer controller. It comes with a power supply, input ports, and output ports for all your spooky gear, and it can record up to 2 minutes of sequences, which is perfect for smaller setups or simple effects. It has an activate and a record button on the front for easy-peasy control and programming. Then there's the Maestro 2, the big sibling with a couple extra tricks. It has a lot more memory. You can now record up to 11 minutes of sheer terror. Plus, it has 2 activate switches, one for each onboard relay, so you can control one extra effect, whether that be another animatronic or a different part of the same animatronic. Now, both controllers can work with pressure mats and PIR, or passive infrared sensors. The pressure mats are great for triggering effects if somebody steps on them, where a PIR sensor detects body heat and it springs the surprises on unsuspecting guests as soon as it notices that heat. Now, setting up these controllers is completely simple. First, all you do is connect a pressure mat into one of the input ports. Now, on the end of the Maestro, you will notice a green block connector. This is referred to as a Phoenix connector. It only has a few screw terminals. It is very, very simple and straightforward. There are 2 of them labeled trigger. This is for your pressure pad or whatever other trigger, could be a push button that you have wired into it. They are not polarity sensitive, so you just screw one wire into each terminal and you're good to go. The other one is for your relay, whether this be normally opened or normally closed. Now, a normally open circuit means that whatever it is not being triggered. The button has not been pushed, so it will not do anything. If you select normally closed, that means the normal functionality not being triggered will be that that relay is engaged and your prop is moving. Keep that in mind when you're wiring it up. It's actually pretty simple. Here's how you're going to set these up. First, connect your trigger input, whether that be a pressure mat or a push button, into the terminals labeled trigger. That's right, just go ahead and plug those in and then connect something fun to your output, like let's say a strobe light. Now, if you're using PIR sensors, plug those into the input port on the bottom, and then everything is connected. Now it's time to program. Really, really simple. To record a sequence, all you have to do is press and hold down the record button for the entire duration of whatever you're programming. While you're holding it, press the activate button whenever you want the effect to trigger. Once you've gone through the entire sequence, release the record button to stop recording. It's that simple. For example, let's say you want a strobe light to flash. Hold down the record button and press activate to trigger the strobe light. then release record when you're done. Keep in mind, you can trigger the strobe light as many times as you'd like during your 2-minute time frame. Release record when you're done, and you're all good to go. For the pressure mat, set it to trigger an effect when someone steps on it. Now give it a test. Step on your pressure mat or press your button and see if your trigger makes the strobe light do what you've programmed it to do. If it does, you're golden. Now, with the Maestro 2, you can do exactly the same thing. However, it has the second onboard relay, so you can control two things during the same recording, which now with the Maestro 2 is 11 minutes, which is quite a bit of time. So you can really get technical with some of your props or your scenes for that matter. Now, let's say you want to add some audio. Well, meet the MP3 Maestro. They have a solution for it, and as a matter of fact, it is so simple, it is plug and play. You literally plug it into the bottom of the controller, and it's that simple. It is an add-on module that works seamlessly with the Maestro and the Maestro 2. It allows you to incorporate high-quality audio into your scene or for either music or eerie sound effects. Now, setting it up is extremely simple. All you do is connect the MP3 to the Maestro to the main controller using the included cable. Then plug in your audio source, whether that's a USB flash drive loaded with your music or a device playing your sound effects. Once connected, you can easily trigger your audio files alongside of your other effects that you've already programmed on the Maestro using the Maestro's control panel. To record the MP3's playback, simply activate the Maestro and allow it to play back what you've already recorded. When you would like the MP3 to play, just simply press the record button one time and it will automatically start playing back your music at that moment. With the MP3 Maestro, you can easily add audio to your effect or to your scene with the simple push of one button. So if you want to add an extra layer of terror to your haunt, consider incorporating this because it's extremely simple and it's a perfect way to make your scares a little bit better. Before we wrap up, let's talk about the pros and cons of the Maestro and the Maestro 2. Let's talk cons first. We don't want to end with negative. First of all, there's no backup capabilities. Unfortunately, you cannot back up the programs, so if something goes wrong, you will need to re-record everything. It's kind of a pain, but it's part of the deal. Number two, you're limited to only one relay, at least in the Maestro. In the original one, it only has one relay, and it limits you to being able to use one effect, and of course, your MP3 if you want to add it up, but you can only control one thing. Number three, there's no computer integration. So this controller does not hook up to a computer or have any software. All of the programming has to be done by the push buttons on the front, and again, you cannot back these programs up. Number four, this is not waterproof. The Maestro or the Maestro 2 is not waterproof, so they only can be used in dry environments. If you're doing an outdoor haunt, you better find some sort of a waterproof enclosure or something because they are not happy with water. And lastly, one of the big downsides is incorporating the audio. The MP3 Maestro is a bit pricey, at least in my personal opinion, with the price of a sale price of $79.95, so about $80, which is quite a bit considering that the controllers themselves are cheaper than that. So adding the audio to it is going to put your price tag up a bit. Now, let's talk about the pros. First of all, the ease of use, because both of these things are super user-friendly. They are straightforward. They have two buttons on them, activate and record. You press them, you do what you got to do, and it does it every single time after that. So there can't be anything easier than that. Second thing, affordability. These things are very inexpensive. As a matter of fact, sale price at Haunted Enterprises retail site right now on sale at $44.95. The Maestro 2 is at $69.95. These are absolutely great values for the features that they have. Number three, versatility. These controllers can handle a variety of inputs, like pressure mats, PIR sensors, push buttons. This allows for diverse setups, not to mention the fact that they can pretty much control anything that you can plug into them. So without a doubt, they are extremely versatile. And the last pro is their memory capacity. So the Maestro 2 specifically offers 11 minutes of recording time, which is ideal for a lot more complex sequences than a standard 2-minute. Now, having said that, the regular Maestro has 2 minutes of programming for an extremely reasonable price. So if you're using it for a very small scene in your pro haunt or a really cool little thing in your home haunt, 2 minutes could be completely sufficient for whatever it is that you are trying to achieve. So again, I believe that for the price, they offer a really good value. So there you have it, folks. We've covered the ins and outs of the Maestro and the Maestro 2 Haunted House controllers, along with the MP3 Maestro for adding chilling audio. These nifty gadgets offer easy setup, they're cool features and affordability, and they're really cool essential tools for any haunt setup. Now, whether you're a pro haunter or just starting out as a home haunter, these controllers provide the flexibility and control that you need to unleash your creativity and create spine-tingling effects that will leave your guests screaming for more. So, whether you're planning a small-scale home haunt or a grand-scale professional scarefest, the Maestro controllers just might be your ticket to crafting these unforgettable experiences. And that wraps up this episode of Terror Tech. We hope you've enjoyed exploring the dark corners of haunted house technology with us today. Remember, whether you're a seasoned pro haunter or just starting out, there's always something new to discover in the world of tech-driven scares and immersive environments. So keep experimenting and pushing the boundaries of fear with Terror Tech behind your curtain. This is Dexter Morgan. Thank you for joining me, and until next time, may your nightmares be ever inventive.
I'm going now. Heaven help you.
Please like and follow the podcast. Stalk us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Links in the description. And help us by sharing Hauntcast with all your haunted Halloween brethren. Until next time, stay scary.